We are back with episode 2 of the weekly recap. As far as news, there weren't any major announcements made this weekend, but just like we did last week, I am going to break down builds for all of my best pulls for the week. I will go over some recommended stat boosts. I will break down the fandom trees for each team. And of course, I will share with you some of the builds that I already made for some of these players. Folks, I'm excited about bringing this episode back. You guys loved the first one. But now let's get into the weekly pulls that are going to be featured this week. So with 2 themes dropping this week, we had a good amount of pulls that we will be featuring in today's weekly recap video. And I will try my best to leave timestamps in the description, just in case you want to skip over to a specific player, or if you want to go back to the video and quickly reference the players, it'll be available for you. So we are going to feature the brand new Showstoppers Donovan Mitchell, who has become one of my favorite cards. Tyler Herro, Klay Thompson, Mobley, Victor Wembanyama, the family Dynasties Lamelo Bol, Lonzo Bol, right? I try to keep that duo together, along with the duo of Arvydas Sabonis and Domantas Sabonis. And then for this team right here, we partnered up the father and son combination. So we got LeBron and Bronny, and then we got Manute and Bol. And then we're also going to feature Stephen Curry and Marc Gasol. Now, I haven't pulled Paul Gasol, so I can't feature that duel. And I'm not going to feature Steph Curry since he does not have a dual bonus with Stephen Curry. It's more than likely a lineup combination that people aren't going to use. So those are the players that we're going to break down today, so let's jump into it. And what I'm going to try to do is show you the players' base stats first. And for the ones that I have hooked up already, I'll show you the build that I'm using. But for the Inferno Opal Showstoppers Donovan Mitchell at the point guard position, which I think is so crucial to point out, he's got a 5-inch shoot-off dribble. His layups and dunks goes from a 5 to a 6 after the fandom tree boost. The same thing happens for mid-range shooting, 3-point shots out of 5, agilities out of 5, and playmaking's out of 5. The fandom tree boost for the Cleveland Cavaliers does bring up layups and dunks and mid-range shooting. And after you unlock those fandom tree boosts, you want to bring up his defending from a 4 to a 5. That way he's a more well-rounded point guard. And then you can boost up his playmaking from a 5 to a 6, his agility from a 5 to a 6, and then his 3-point shot as well from a 5 to a 6. And then this was the build that I'm using for him. I do have some legendary shoes from like the beginning of the season where Donovan Mitchell was the cover athlete. There was a free code for these shoes and they end up being perfect. That with the Stephen Curry mentor, it allowed us to max out layups and dunks, which I think is really good for Donovan Mitchell too, because he is explosive. We were able to max out agility and playmaking and a 3-point shot. And then we're also able to bring up his mid-range shooting up to a 6. For the Titanium Quartz Showstoppers Tyler Herro at the shooting guard position, he's got a 5-inch shoot-off dribble. His mid-range goes from a 5 to a 6 after the fandom tree boost, and his 3-point shot is a 5. The Miami Heat fandom tree boost brings up mid-range shooting and layups and dunks. And after the fandom tree boost, you want to bring up his 3-point shot from a 5 to a 7, so you will max that out. I think that makes him an elite scoring threat. You also want to bring up a shoot-off dribble from 5 to a 7, so you will max that out as well. I think it's crucial for the shooting guard. That way they can create their own shot. And then you want to bring up his agility from a 4 to a 5, which will make him navigate the court and create space easier. And then you want to bring up his playmaking from a 4 to a 5 as well. This is the build that I've been working on so far with him. We got the Michael Jordan mentor, and then we got some Jordan shoes as well. So we were able to bring up layups and dunks up to a 6. Mid-range shooting we maxed out. We maxed out 3-point shot. And then we brought up defending up to a 5. So I'm hoping that the next stat on those Jordan shoes could bring up either his shoot-off dribble or his agility. For the Titanium Quartz family Dynasties Klay Thompson at the small forward position, he's got a 6 in mid-range shooting after the fandom tree boost, a 5 in 3-point shot, a 5 in playmaking after the boost, along with a 5 in defending. The fandom tree boost for the Warriors is actually pretty good. It boosts up layups and dunks, playmaking, and mid-range shooting. Once you do unlock those boosts, the stats you want to bring up for Klay Thompson are going to be maxing out his mid-range shooting. This will make him an even more dominant scorer. Maxing out his 3-point shot as well. I think it's essential for Klay Thompson. Maxing out his defending because he is one of the best two-way players in the game. And also bringing up his agility from a 4 to a 5. And then last but not least, if you could, you also want to max out a shoot-off dribble. The Titanium Quartz Showstoppers Mobley at the power forward position. He goes from a 5 to a 6 for layups and dunks after the fandom tree boost, 5 to a 6 for mid-range shooting, and he has a 5 in rebounding and defending. The fandom tree boost for the Cleveland Cavaliers boosts up layups and dunks and mid-range shooting. To the fandom tree boost, the stats you want to focus on building will be maxing out mid-range shooting, maxing out rebounding, which is very important for power forward, bringing up his strength from a 4 to a 5. I think this is crucial as well. And then also raising post scoring from a 4 to a 5. And this is the build I've been working on with Evan Mobley so far. We have the Domantas Sabonis mentor, so we're able to max out his layups and dunks because I think that is important too. We brought up mid-range shooting up to a 6, post scoring up to a 6, and then we brought up playmaking up to a 7. And hopefully with the other 2 boosts on these Zoom Hirachi 2K4s, we could bring up either strength, rebounding, or defending. For the Inferno Opal, Showstoppers Victor Wembanyama at the center position, he's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble. He goes from a 5 to a 6 for layups and dunks, 4 to a 5 in mid-range shooting. He has a 5 in post scoring, a 5 in rebounding, and a 5 in defending. The team fandom boost for the San Antonio Spurs raise up his layups and dunks in mid-range shooting. After you unlock those boosts, you want to focus on bringing up his strength from a 3 to a 5. I think it's super important for his position. Bring up his rebounding from a 5 to a 7. That way he's a beast on the glass. And then if you could, max out his post scoring as well and his defending. This is the build I started working on for Victor Wembanyama. We got the Giannis mentor. We're able to max out layups and dunks, which will make him a great putback dunker. We maxed out his mid-range as well. We could be a little bit of a stretch big and good on the pick and pop. We did max out defending, and I'm hoping that with the LeBron 17s, we could boost up either the rebounding, post scoring, or strength. The Inferno Opal, Family Dynasties Lamelo Ball at the point guard position. He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble, and after the fandom tree boost, a lot of his stats go up. So, for example, layups and dunks will go from a 4 to a 5. Mid-range shooting will go from a 5 to a 6. 3-point shot will go from a 5 to a 6. His agility will be a 5, and his playmaking goes from a 5 to a 6. The Charlotte Hornets has one of the best fandom tree boosts in the game, and there's a few other teams like this as well. But because LaMelo is an Inferno Opal and one of the newest reward cards, this card is going to be insane. So the stats you do want to focus on boosting up after those fandom tree boosts will be maxing out his playmaking. You also want to max out his 3-point shot, his agility, and then it's important that you bring up his defending from a 4 to a 5. Because of his height, this will make him a really good two-way player for your team. For the Titanium Quartz Family Dynasties Lonzo Ball at the shooting guard position, after the fandom tree boost, his layups and dunks goes from a 4 to a 5. Mid-range shooting goes from a 4 to a 5 as well. As far as the rest of his stats, he has a 5 and 3-point shot, agility, playmaking, and defending. The fandom tree boost for the Bulls brings up mid-range shooting and layups and dunks. After you unlock those boosts, though, the stats you want to focus on raise up Lonzo Ball's 3-point shot, so eventually you do want to max it out. You want to max out his agility, his playmaking, and then you want to raise his shoot-off dribble from a 4 to a 5 since he will be playing the shooting guard position. For the Solar Diamond Family Dynasties, Domantas Sabonis at the power forward position, after the fandom tree boost, his layups and dunks goes from a 4 to a 5, mid-range shooting goes from a 5 to a 7, and then as far as the rest of his stats, he has a 5 in post scoring, strength, rebounding, and playmaking. The fandom tree boost for the Sacramento Kings will raise mid-range shooting, layups, and dunks. After you unlock the fandom tree boost, the stats you want to focus on building up will be strength, so you want to max that out. You want to max out his rebounding, his post scoring, and you do want to raise his defending. And if possible, if you want, you can also raise his 3-point shot since he's pretty good from the corner 3. Now here's a player that I think people will be sleeping on, and he probably might be the gem of the video. But it's the Inferno Opal Family Dynasties, Arvydas Sabonis at the center position. And the reason why I say that is because the Trailblazers fandom tree boosts are incredible as well. I'll give you some examples. So Arvydas Sabonis, his layups and dunks will go from a 4 to a 5. Mid-range shooting will go from a 5 to a 6. 3-point shot will go from a 4 to a 5. And his playmaking also goes from a 4 to a 5. And on top of those stats, he has a 5 in post scoring, strength, and rebounding. So basically, the fandom tree boost for the Trailblazers raises playmaking, layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, and 3-point shot. Once you unlock those boosts, you do want to bring up his defending, right? You got to bring that up from a 4 to a 5. It's very important for a center. You want to max out his strength. You want to max out his rebounding, his post scoring, and you might as well also max out his mid-range shooting, which will make him such an elite pick and roll, pick and pop type center. For the Titanium Quartz Family Dynasties, LeBron James at the point guard position. I'm so hype about this card because this is another elite OP card in my opinion. The Lakers fandom tree boost is solid as well. He goes from a 5 to a 6 in layups and dunks. He goes from a 4 to a 5 in mid-range shooting. And he goes from a 5 to a 6 in playmaking. On top of that, his regular stats are a 5 and 3-point shot, post scoring, agility, strength, and defending. So with the Lakers fandom tree boost, you get a boost to layups and dunks, playmaking, and mid-range shooting. So good. Now, after you unlock those boosts, the stats you want to focus on for LeBron James at the point guard position, I got to stress that, will be maxing out his playmaking, his agility, his 3-point shot, and his defending. his card is going to be crazy. Now, for those of you that might be skeptical, think that Bronny James does have potential to be used with LeBron in your lineup, especially with that dual bonus. So for the Solar Diamond Family Dynasties, Bronny James at the shooting guard position, he just has a 5 in agility. But with the fandom tree boost to layups and dunks and playmaking, his stats do go up a bit. Once you unlock the boost from the Lakers fandom tree, you do want to focus on bringing up these stats for Bronny James. It's important that you raise his 3-point shot from a 3 to a 5. Also, his shoot-off dribble needs to go from a 3 to a 5. This will improve his offensive game a bit. You also want to raise his playmaking from a 4 to a 5, and you want to bring up his agility from a 5 to a 7. For the Gate Family Dynasties Bol Bol at the power forward position, with the fandom tree boost for the Phoenix Suns, his layups and dunks goes from a 4 to a 5, and his mid-range shooting goes from a 4 to a 5, and he does have a 5 in rebounding. The Phoenix Sun fandom tree boost increases layups and dunks and mid-range shooting. Once you do unlock those boosts, you want to focus on bringing up Bol Bol's strength, raise that from a 4 to a 5. Along with his post scoring as well, you want to increase that from 4 to 5. And then you want to try to max out his rebounding from a 5 to a 7 and his mid-range shooting from a 5 to a 7. Malachite Family Dynasties Manute Bol at the center position with the fandom tree boost for the Wizards. His layups and dunks goes from a 4 to a 5. And he has a 5 in post scoring, rebounding, and defending. The fandom tree boost for the Washington Wizards increases his playmaking, layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, and 3-point shot. Once you do unlock those boosts, you want to focus on raising his strength. It's very important to raise that from a 2 to a 5. It's a crucial area for a center. You also want to raise his rebounding from a 5 to a 7, so you want to max that stat out. You also want to max out post scoring from 5 to 7 and defending from 5 to 7 as well. Next up, we got the fan favorite. So this is the Inferno Opal Family Dynasty Stephen Curry at the point guard position. He has a 5 in shoot-off dribble. With the fandom tree boost, he goes from a 5 to a 6 in mid-range shooting. He also has a 5 and 3-point shot agility, and the fandom tree boost raises his playmaking from a 5 to a 6. Fandom tree boost for the Golden State Warriors increases layups and dunks, playmaking, and mid-range shooting. Once you do unlock those boosts, you want to focus on raising Curry's playmaking from a 6 to a 7, so you do want to max that stat out along with agility, 3-point shot, raising both of them from 5 to a 7, and then you want to raise his defending from a 4 to a 6. Next, we got Titanium Quartz Family Dynasties Marc Gasol at the center position. With the fandom tree boost, he goes from a 4 to a 5 in layups and dunks, from a 5 to a 6 in mid-range shooting. He also has a 5 in post scoring, strength, and defending. The team fandom boost for the Memphis Grizzlies bring up mid-range shooting and layups and dunks. Once those boosts are unlocked, you want to focus on maxing out Marc Gasol's rebounding. You want to raise that from a 4 to a 7. You want to max out his strength from a 5 to a 7. Along with his post scoring and defending, you want to raise both of those as well to max them out at a 7. You want to raise both of those as well to max them out from a 5 to a 7. So those were my best pulls this week. Let me know in the comment section, what was your favorite pull this week and how are you going to build out that player? So as always, folks, I appreciate all the support. I will catch you on the next one. Stay balling.